Hello, Tony. You are on the line with Shannon and Will. What would you like to talk about today, as if we don't know?
Yeah, thanks for taking my call. Well, I was listening to the conversation earlier when they asked the person from Tennessee about God and how do you know he's real? And you mentioned that because you feel it doesn't mean it's real. So it's like the same thing that's going on with gender identity.
What are you talking about? Okay, first off, we told you we would hold a line for a pro-choice call. We told you so.
Yeah,
so right away,
and
you tried to call in. Oh no, to shut the fuck up. So we told you we would hold a line specifically for pro-choice. So either you're too cowardly to talk about pro-choice, or you're using that as a Trojan horse to come in here and be transphobic. And if you're using it as a Trojan horse to come in here and be transphobic, you can fully go fuck off into the sun. Do you have an argument for pro-choice? Or for pro-life, yeah. Sorry. Do you have an argument for pro-life that you would like to speak to us about? This is your chance. Do it now.
I told Matt when I called. Yes, wow.
I don't care what you told Matt. I'm going to give you 60 seconds to get an argument out.
There's also no Matt. Matt isn't the screener. Matt's not on the show today. Who the fuck is Matt to you today? I told Matt, whatever ethereal Matt you were having a call with, shut the fuck up. Whatever ethereal Matt you were talking to doesn't exist. Now talk about abortion or abort your call. I was going to say meaner things.
Abortion is murder. It's life. The definition of life is something that changes. Prove me wrong. Look up the definition of life and read it.
Okay, I will grant you that a fetus is fully living and can walk out and win a Nobel Prize and cure cancer the second it's conceived. I will grant you that for the sake of argument. It still doesn't have the right to my body. And I'm not killing it. I'm relinquishing its right to live inside me and utilize my bodily resources to survive.
They just said it there. It's something living inside of you that isn't your body. It's separate from your body.
That's right. That's right. But it's using my bodily resources to survive. Right?
Yeah,
it's attached to me.
And population. Wait, if we don't have in America, if you don't have a population rate of I believe it's 2.5 children per family, per couple.
Yeah.
I don't. You think?
Yeah. No. Okay. Tony, do you think that? Tony, do you think that contraception?
Population.
Yeah, great. Tony, do you think that contraception should be illegal?
What's that have to do with abortion? If you're stopping
I agree. It has nothing to. I agree. The birth rate has nothing to do with abortion. That's the whole point, right? The fact that you need to do something. The fact that you need to do something in order to have a child, or the fact that the population of the U.S. needs to continue to increase, has nothing to do with abortion, right? The point is we're not going to violate people's liberties and rights and bodily autonomy and freedom, right? Freedom, which I think you all agree that this is supposedly what this country was founded on. Now you're suggesting that in order to maintain this free country, right, that we need to violate one of the most important liberties in the world. It's incredible.
Yeah, but you didn't want the caller before to cut you off while you were talking, and you've done that to me.
Tony, you tried to talk over him during that entire thing. Do you know what the word irony means? That should be your name. Irony? I'm changing your name tag to Irony instead of Tony. You just tried to talk him over during the entire thing. He did wait for you to finish and respond, and you don't know a single thing he said because you were too busy gabbing.
And he got you there.
Gabbing, I was making a point about...
If your argument was about the population, yeah, exactly. I love it. So we've established that it's a living thing that doesn't have the rights to my body. Tell me why it should have the rights to my body. Why? Why should anybody have the right to my body?
The right to the baby's body. Which you admitted during the first conversation.
No. Can the baby survive without my body? Can the baby survive without my body? So in order for the baby to survive, it needs to use what?
Without the baby.
Yeah,
it's a dependency.
I can survive without the baby.
conception.
The baby can't survive without me. So you're saying that another human being has
It's just like
the
when you have a
right
baby
to
and
my body.
Shut up, Tony. What the fuck? You just complained about being supposedly talked over, and you have not stopped trying to talk over people. I'm going to mute you from now on when Shannon's talking or when Will is talking, so no one will hear you but you. But that's kind of what you're here for anyway, I think.
no, not at all.
Okay, so why does somebody have the right to my body?
When the baby is born, does it have a right to breastfeed,
No,
or do you
of
deny
course
it?
not. You still feed the baby. You can feed it formula.
Also, it doesn't have a right to your breast milk. As we've
Certainly
said
not.
already, you can give it up for adoption, right? So it's not a
Correct.
very strong right, if that's what you're suggesting.
Yeah, I can give that baby up instantaneously the moment it's born.
Right. And if you have a child and you don't provide for that child and it dies, what happens?
You go to jail for neglect because you entered into a social contract to take care of that child the moment that you signed that you were the parent who was going to take custody of it. You entered into a legal social contract. At that point, when you signed those legal documents, their birth certificate, saying, I am this child's parent, I'm going to take this child to this residence, I am going to raise this child, I am entering into this contract with you, society, this child is now my child. Otherwise, and if it wasn't, I would give it back. I would give it to you, society, and then you could take care of it. In which case, it would go up for adoption or go into the system. But instead, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take this child, and you didn't fulfill that social contract or that legal contract because you neglected the child that you agreed to take care of.
Okay. And what you guys were referring to earlier about love, caring for other people,
Uh-huh.
a child that in your eyes is just a contract.
No,
Yes,
that's totally
that's
wrong.
exactly
That's
what
not
I'm
where,
saying.
I mean, that's not where we're not suggesting. I wouldn't suggest that the child is just a contract. I would suggest that the reason I owe this child anything is a contract. That's like, duh, like, what are you talking? Like, no one said that the child was a contract. Like, I don't think, my brother, who's a child of my mother, is a piece of paper. No one suggested that. What we're saying is that the only reason we owe anything to this child is because of a contract or an assumed contract in specific cases. Also, yeah, I can love someone and not want to support organ harvesting, right? Like, cool. Like, it's really simple, right? That's what I view forced birth as, is you're forcing people to give up their body, forcing people to give up those stem cells, right? So I can love people and respect their liberties and freedoms. That's, once again, what freedom means, what liberty means, is freedom to do something that, even if you personally wouldn't do it, which 100% you would.
Yeah. And it's not like love is ever divorced from a contract. I'm pretty sure that's literally what marriage is.
Most important contract you'll ever sign.
But if they can't talk in the womb, they don't have a choice.
No, the child doesn't have a choice over who takes custody of it. Society does, for sure.
Just like I don't have a choice over if a liver donor gives me a liver if I need it. Just like I don't have a choice over if someone donates blood to me. Yeah, no, my choice doesn't matter over their blood.
Yep. Bingo. And with pregnancy, it's so much worse. Oh my gosh.
What does somebody else's blood that goes to a donation place have to do with you? That isn't the same thing as a baby. That's literally formed.
I don't think you're grasping the point, though, Tony. Okay, let's follow the trail, though, right, Tony? So you're saying that I have to use my body to sustain somebody else's life, right? You're saying I have to do that. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, because
yes or no?
People didn't.
Yes or no?
Yeah,
yes or no? You're saying that I have to use my body to sustain another person's life. Yes or no?
If you gave your body to a man and you conceived, yes.
Yeah, okay. So if I get pregnant, then I now have to use my body's resources to sustain somebody else's life. That's what you're saying? I just want to make sure I'm clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what
So
we do
you
for
think that
other
there
people
is a
every day.
scenario that it is valid to utilize another human being's body to sustain a life that requires sustaining, a life that wouldn't be able to sustain itself on its own. Right?
Yeah, it's just like going to a fast food place. You're using somebody else's body to sustain your body for nourishment.
No, for Jesus Christ. Okay. No, you're going off into veganism land now, Tony. Let's stay focused. Let's stay focused. Dial in with me, Tony. Dial in with me, Tony. Okay, so you're a human. Unless you're eating human McDonald's, which is weird. That would be weird. So a human life can be used, a human's body can be used to sustain another human life. You think that is valid. If a human needs another person's body or a component of another person's body, they should be entitled to it if it will sustain their life, right?
Yeah, yes? Otherwise humans would not exist today.
Okay. All right. Yes, because all women would just choose to have abortions because we enjoy them so fucking much, Tony. Yes, we just get in line. The only reason we don't is because the only reason we don't abort every pregnancy that's ever happened in the history of time is just because people are stopping us. That's clearly why. Stick with me here, Tony. We're following one string. So what you are, Jesus fucking Christ. So if you are using that as justification here, if you're saying that it is okay to use one person's body to sustain another person's body if they need it, if they can't survive without it, then you should only have a portion of your liver, you should only have one kidney, and you should be consistently donating blood, because there's people that have died, people that have been walking around, chatting with people, having relationships that have died that could have availed from those, right? So you chose to relinquish access to your body and let those people die. So should we build a system where you're forced to give up parts of your body if it'll sustain another person's life? Or should we build a system where you're not forced to do that? Which one of those would be the better system?
They do that. They do that in third world countries, actually.
Do you think that's the system we should build, Tony?
No, but I think people are building that.
No, that's the bad system, right, Tony? The bad system. We wouldn't want that. We wouldn't want that to be the system because that's a bad system. It's a bad system. If you're saying that anytime somebody needs access to another person's body to sustain their life, we should give it to them, that's a bad system, right? Because it might impact you. So it's bad system, right? Bad system.
That argument doesn't make any sense.
I think that there's lots of people following the plot. Well, does that make sense?
I think it makes well sense. I think there's an active effort to not understand it, but I think we all know that organ harvesting is bad, and I think we can all kind of see the parallel between, enslaving women to do pregnancy labor and, organ harvesting. It does, though. Okay, do you think, I'll ask a direct question. Do you believe that we should tie people down and take their stem cells? Do you believe that we should tie people down and take their stem cells?
That has nothing to do with abortion. But
it does, though, because stem cells are transferred from the mother to the child in the womb. They literally transfer through the umbilical cord directly, right? So when you force someone to maintain pregnancy, you are forcing a stem cell transfusion. I don't die if I give stem cell transfusions. What are you talking about? So if you don't believe that we should tie people down and force them to give stem cells, then you don't believe that we should force a woman to continue giving stem cells to her child. It absolutely does. If that's true, you don't understand what pregnancy is, right? And I don't know why you're speaking on it if you don't understand what pregnancy is. Pregnancy is necessarily a stem cell transplant.
It's a fallacy argument, and you know it.
What fallacy is it?
Name
the fallacy, babe.
You're comparing people stealing organs to...
Name the fallacy. Name the fallacy. What fallacy? What fallacy? What's the name?
You're begging.
Oh, you don't know what begging the question is. That's not what begging the question is.
Yeah.
Begging the question would be circular reasoning. This is not begging the question. The one you were looking for was false equivalency, right? But it's not a false equivalency because you would need to prove how it's a false equivalency when it's the same thing. You don't know what begging the question is. So thank you for bringing up a rhetorical foul that I didn't commit.
You are begging the question. Like,
okay, so I'll ask you directly then. Why do you want to
talking about I'm not talking about organ harvesting. I'm talking about abortion. You're comparing like apples to oranges here.
You can compare apples to oranges. Tony, you need to start shutting up, by the way. You're doing it again. I'm hopping in to say shut the fuck up. Apples and oranges are both fruit. Oh, I just compared them. Oh, no.
Tony, they are analogous, though. You're like, Will is right when he's saying that you don't understand the breadth of what pregnancy is, Tony, because stem cells being extracted or blood being extracted, Tony.
Tony, shut the fuck up. All right, you're muted, Dick.
Stem cells and blood being extracted are less intrusive than a pregnancy is by miles, and don't have anywhere near the detrimental, permanent, and lifelong effects pregnancy can and does have on women. Most of us choose to enter into it willingly knowing that's the case, but not all of us should have to. We shouldn't have to. When I was pregnant, I had multiple sclerosis. I hadn't been diagnosed yet. I was diagnosed with something called transverse myelitis. I had to be induced because I was losing the use of my legs. And it was a sacrifice that I was willing to make. I should not have had to make that sacrifice. I should not have had to make that choice. If I had chose to terminate because I knew that there was going to be potential detrimental health effects that were going to possibly ruin my life, then terminating the pregnancy would have ended that. That's a choice that should have been my choice to make, and it was my choice to make, and I chose to go on with the pregnancy and monitor it, and everything turned out okay because I had a good doctor and yada yada yada. But the point of the whole story is that's like a small choice. That's like there's women who literally lose their eyesight because they get gestational diabetes. There's women who have heart issues. There's women who have permanent damage. There's women who have permanent scarring or infections that come from having to have cesarean sections. There's women who have to fully recover from surgeries. Like what we have to go to, what our bodies physically have to go through in order to give birth is nothing. It's not even like it. Like what? Sorry, it just frustrates me. Compared to what you would have to go through to just give blood. And you're saying, nah, I don't have to. That's completely different. It's completely different because I didn't have sex. What if every time you had sex, you had to give blood? What if every time you got a woman pregnant, you had to give blood? How about that? You get a woman pregnant, you have to give blood, you have to donate a portion of your kidney, you have to donate your stem cells. Because you did it too, right? So your body should you give up the right to, because if that's what sex does, if sex means that both parties give up the right to their bodily autonomy, that would be great for society, right? Like the men have to, donate what they can donate and the women go through the pregnancy. You would never support a system like that because it's batshit crazy, because there shouldn't be a punishment for having sex. There shouldn't be a relinquishing of bodily autonomy for having sex. But you want to say, well, there should be for women, but keep a special corner over here for you. You guys, because you guys will never ever fucking have to, right? So it's a silly argument when we say that you should have to do it, but it's just what we should fucking do. So bite me. I'm done now.
I unmuted Will. Sorry, Tony, I unmuted you.
Okay. That was a good rant, but
I thought so.
Has to die.
It still doesn't justify killing something.
Jesus fucking Christ, I'm not killing anything. I'm relinquishing its right to my body. I'm not killing anything in that scenario.
I don't think he knows what abortion looks like most of the time. Do you know how the abortion pill works, Tony? Do you know how the abortion pill works, Tony? Describe it to me.
Yeah. It stops if you can take it within, I think it's 7 days or something, it hardens the egg or stops the sperm from getting inside of the egg.
You're thinking of the Plan B pill, not the abortion pill. The abortion pill accounts for up to 30% of abortions. That's my most recent statistics. It's the most common form of abortion, and all it does is stop the mother from continuing to give her nutrients and connection to the child. So it is not destroying the child, right? Actually, it stops nutrients and then it expels it. Wonderful. So if I didn't give you food and you died, here's the thing. Okay, let's talk about starvation. If I didn't give you food and then you died because you didn't have food, the only way I would be liable for that, the only way I did anything legally wrong, is if I owed you food. Okay? But what you're failing to grasp is that you are entirely unable to justify why the mother owes her body to the child, right? If you don't think the mother should be forced to give her kidney outside the womb, or her blood outside the womb, or her stem cells outside the womb, right? Why do you believe there's some type of special made-up obligation when it's inside the womb? Why do you devalue pregnant women's rights and like values? When even you kind of recognize women's rights when they're not pregnant.
Yeah, women are a special gift that can do things that men can't, like have children. That's a blessing. That's not anything else.
I don't think that you are absorbing anything anybody's saying. You're either being purposefully obtuse. You must be being purposefully obstinate. That's the only thing I can.
I mean, it was a half answer. It was a half answer. I asked him why he didn't respect women's rights. He said because they're baby making machines. We got the information.
That's not what I said at all. But you can twist my words.
I was decoding the Republican propaganda. Right? They're a special gift, so we're going to enslave them for that gift. Right? That's what you meant. You can do this thing that benefits me as a man. I'm going to enslave you for it because I hold more power in society to do it. Right? I don't think we should do that. I don't believe in indentured servitude for 9 months of women simply because of their reproductive abilities. I don't think people with O-type blood should be forced to sit down for days on end and give blood. Right? I don't think people that have kidney matches out the wazoo should be forced to cut themselves open and give their kidney. Just because we have a God-given gift, right, doesn't mean that society can sit down and force it from us. Right? So even if you did view women as baby-making machines, right, which is incredibly simplistic and arbitrary, especially considering most women are not fertile. Either they're too young or too old or just infertile during that time. Right? It's just not true. It's an incredibly strange view to have.
Really? Because if you look at Genesis, it even says that one of the reasons, or one of the things that happened in the fall, is that women would have extremely painful childbirth, difficult childbirth.
Yeah, it also says a snake talks. I don't really care.
I mean, that is.
Bring Genesis to me when you find a talking snake. Like,
great.
It sucks. I don't really care.
Okay, well, science says snakes used to have legs. So.
Wow.
No, it doesn't.
Little mouths in them that said stuff, because that wasn't the point. Okay, I think we've reached what I wanted to say our logical conclusion, but I'm just going to say I'm exhausted. So let's be done now.
Wait, before we go. Hey, Tony, what's your favorite color?
Well, here's a logical.
I knew you wouldn't answer the question because you haven't answered a single question the whole fucking night. You're muted, so keep trying if you like. I just knew if I asked a straightforward question, you'd be incapable of just saying blue. Goodbye, Tony.
Bye, Tony.
Oh,
it's kind of funny.
The bar for critical thinking on the floor, and we're still there.
Hello, I'm Jimmy Snow, executive producer of The Line, and I only became a woodworker for the puns. That's not important. If you would like to support this channel, you can do so on our Patreon or as a channel member, and you can actually support specific shows and specific hosts in special tiers on those. Check those options out. Also, you can leave a super thanks and get a little highlighted deal. But if all else fails, you can always you can subscribe and leave a comment. Now, here are some suggestions because I don't care about the algorithm. I am the algorithm. Bye.